I didn't prepare.
Oh, hey, hi, I'm Sally Griffin, aka Millionaire Yogi, and I help visionaries become world-changing influencers. And we're right in the middle of discussion about currency because this is a brainstorming opportunity that I'm doing 3 times a week over the next 4 weeks, so people can just bring their own what's going on with their business. And actually today I'm also going to do some breath work because I think we need to breathe right in the middle of this. But we're just having a conversation about currency, and I am recommending that everybody gets TransferWise. There are several, but I've trialed, and in fact what I'm going to do, I'm going to go onto my account TransferWise right now, and I'm going to get the, oh, now what's going on? Oh, go away. Go away. It should work. Yeah. I'm going to give you a link so that you can actually, I can invite you. You've got my link. If I do this.
So how do they work with the securities and stuff like that? Like certain banks, they give you, I mean, as far as things going on in the world, we have no security for
Oh,
sure.
it's completely secure. It's completely secure.
Okay. I mean, in terms like if you lose the money or for some whatever fraud reason, how?
No, they're all integrated with all of that, with fraud, with everything.
Okay.
They're so clever. They're ahead of the game with everything. So I've given you that link, right? Transferwise.com. So if you copy that and you log in, start the process from scratch so you can see how it works. If you had one years ago and you can't even remember, don't bother. Create a new one. You hit on that link and you can refer people, which is what I do, and you get paid for referrals. And
yeah, I know, I remember.
but I tell everybody because I use it, and so it means that if somebody then starts working with me, we start working with TransferWise already. It's already set up. It's just so easy. But the advantage is, you know, when you start to get cash flow really moving in your business or in your life or in your the concept in your head, which as creators, creatives, people don't really get around to the money often. I was very much like that in the early days. I was like this explosion of energy going out into the universe. I want to do that, yeah, you know, and I would have the sort of vague amounts of ideas of money that were going on, but I never really did anything on the detail side. And I've launched so many businesses. So I get my back end people to hold me to account. But if they held me to account too much, they wouldn't get the deal because I'm great at making deals, right? So when I got a little bit more mature about it, I started paying myself first. And that's something which people say a lot, but there's no real understanding of it. You really should pay yourself first. And if you're always in a tight maneuver for a while, you know, as you're building your business, then the best thing I can say is mentally, symbolically, if you can pay yourself, even if it's £10, like a week, and start doing that into Singaporean dollars, then what you're doing, you're already making the shift, the mind shift, which is what we want to get you in all levels, operational, so that, you know, like this is handled later. Singaporean dollars, why? Because that is the area of the world that is not going to experience the crash in the same way that everywhere else is right now. And
why is that? Sorry, why is that they won't?
Because they're in the East. It's where the coronavirus has been handled. So so money over there is already in an area that has been handling the money that the coronavirus has already handled. And also, when you see how the waves of, this is not to scare anybody, right? Just to get really clear about this, but there are waves of influence that happen all the time. And you see the ripple effect around the world. And that's how we work. We want to be ahead of it. We want to be flowing with it. I teach cyclical business. This is the difference between corporate business and what I call cyclical business. Cyclical is always working with cycles. So you're never shocked, like it's a cycle. You go, oh, it's a cycle. We're in a cycle. Which phase of the cycle are we in? Now, how did I start working with that? Is because for years I've been working with the lunar cycle. I work with the moon, and there are different things to do at different times of the moon to be effective. Same with seasons. So my background for nearly 30 years now is working as a Wiccan high priestess. That is one of my roles. That's a hat that I wear. And then I've worked with yoga for the same amount of time. I've had East and West flowing through my path. And if you like, all my business operating systems are spiritual. They're all around the spirit. And so corporate has always been the thing that I can't, I can't bear. It's, and this is why there's no cycles in corporate at all. Every day you're expected to show up exactly the same way and push. That's corporate. Push, 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 push. And even there's no flow with anything. It's just push, and it's burnout. And I think it's incredibly bad for your health. I also see it as the problem with the institutions and the corporations around the world, which are about to crash. Yay. And sorry, people, if you're caught up in that, but there's another side that you'll come out to where you start to value different things. And partly it's valuing your experience, your what makes you happy, and integrating that into a system that works for you in business and life and love and family and health and all of it. And that way you can be ahead of all games. So I'm not push, push, push. I target things and I freaking go for it when I need to. And then there's times when it's inappropriate and I step back. And it's like this maneuver. It's more like a sort of Tai Chi, always moving with it, always moving with the energy. So right now, when I'm saying like pivot, it's because for you to be as ludicrous as the corporate drive would be now, like push it out, get your product out. It's like, no, change your product, change your message right now. And that's the cyclical business way. It's not being fixed and stuck with one way of being. It's about this ability to flow through things and maneuver and come out the other end and change your expectations. So you're always changing. It's not like, here's the goal, we're going to go after it, go. And then here's the next goal, go, run, force. It's like right now, because there's a changing of the waves, if you can start to look at things that are going to sustain you over a period of time, rather than the expectation of goal, it's sustain. And that's the cycle right now. I would not use the word survival because it suggests that there's something we're surviving. We're not. This is a cycle, and all cycles change and flow. So, so the Singaporean dollar account is for you to start to know there is that cycle already happening. It's the same in the 2008 crash, property crash, which I was deeply invested in at the time. And literally overnight, I had 2 deals going on. And what that meant was I was in the process of buying 2 properties. I had all the schedules of the renovations arranged. We had all the money figured out. The banks knew they were good deals, guaranteed, because we paid our investors 20%. It's a huge payout. Some of my friends did very well because I would say, hey, do you want to get involved in this? And I would do all the business. They would just put in some money. And then about 6 weeks, maybe longest was 2 months, 3 months later, they'd make 20% on their money. So it was an amazing system, way better than the banks, all developed through trust. And overnight, these 2 deals that we were doing, the bank came back in the morning, although they'd agreed it all the way up, suddenly didn't sign. And so we then presented in the next 2 weeks to 2 other banks. They agreed it, didn't sign. And that was like, how fast? So within a period of 2 weeks. And then we had one property that was coming up at the end of a renovation cycle, ready to sell, and a lot of money in it. So there was, I had $1 million in a bridging loan, which was funds from the bank to be able to do the renovation. And then the banks recalled it. So they went back on their word. And this is when I really understood how corrupt banks are. Like, they're totally and utterly corrupt institutions. And if you get that now, then you can start, write that down. Banks are totally corrupt institutions. So what they did was they haggled. They knew that their money was stuck, kind of legally, and they haggled with me. They had us round a table haggling for an exit fee of a loan that they'd given us, for an exit fee. And this was how they go. So we want to put a 70,000 on your exit fee. This means to give them their money back. We pay 70,000, and I bargained them down to 35. And that was like, that's banking. It really, when you see it like that. So why do I say this? Because we understood very early on in that cycle that many people went down completely and crashed with that. That was the crash. But we changed tactic. We stopped selling and went into renting at an even level, even keeled level. That meant the money was stuck for all our investors. I had to have a lot of uncomfortable conversations explaining to people this is the cycle. Lots of people like, oh my God, I didn't think this happened. Of course it happens all the time. And then we gradually moved with the cycle until it was the right time to sell, and we saved everything and we never went down. And so, you know, it's like I've been there before, and I know this cycle has already started. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we were already talking amongst entrepreneurs that the States was going to go down. And, you know, it has to. Why? Because it's all propped up with fake money. You know, this is why I say it's corrupt. Here's a little history lesson on the banking institution. Early in the 1800s, when slavery was thriving in the States, and everybody, you know, lived with slavery. There was opposition to it, but there was also kind of, it's just what's happening. There was a bank decision made that if we're going to convert slavery, then we need to convert it to the work policy being slavery. Literally, that was the language of it. So if we're going to abolish real slavery, we have to find another kind of slavery. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to tell people that they have to have a job, and we're already going to, with everything that they have to pay, there's already interest payments attached to every piece of money. So how did they do that? The Bank of America issued this, the National Bank, and what it said was there only ever has to be 10% real money in that bank ever to issue 100% of the movement of it. So it's like saying, you know,
no reserves, basically.
Yeah, no reserves. So if that's the Bank of America, a SOC, this was what had to be in it, literally. They're playing with all of this, but that's what's really in there. Now what's happened is there's nothing in there. And they're printing trillions of dollars to prop up the economy, but it doesn't mean anything because there's nothing in there. There's no real money in it. And we were expecting this crash anyway to happen, or recession, worldwide recession. And that always sounds so dramatic, but it's not. It's just basically you have to change what you're doing. And this is the beginning of it. It was already indicating for the last 3 years that something would happen with it anyway, because of this fake money attitude with nothing. It's like me just saying, hey, you know, I'm going to trade you nothing. Give me 10 quid. And I just give you a handshake. And they were doing that in the millions, trillions, billions. And then when they've had a crisis, which happens to be Corona crisis, they've got no money. And it looks like they do because they've got paper floating around. But that's when you really get to understand what money is. Money is a piece of paper
Or
with,
a figure on your bank account,
with
basically.
a design on it. That's it. It's a piece of paper. So when you start to get your investments into the reality of what it is. So I always talk about your current, what your frequency is, what you're really here to do, what your sole purpose is. Becomes like at the beginning when you're trying to get it down, it's like a radio station where you're on and off, on and off. It's like you go through the bandwidth, you'll suddenly be on, that's your messaging, and then you're off. So it's like a crackly radio station, and people are tuning in, but they're not quite, don't know where to find you. And by the end, when I've worked with people, they're like a radio station. The frequency is out there. People know where to find them. They know what it's about. And that's when you have a current. And when the current happens, you have currency. It follows, it's completely linked. Abundance is linked completely, and finance is linked to your ability to stand with who you are authentically, completely and utterly, be that confident, have the balls to, be you. There's some mechanisms, obviously, as well, but it really is. Once you're on, you're on. And it's all that messaging piece which comes in, where you're trialing things and you're trying to find your way of being, and then suddenly you're on. And the difference is amazing. People come to you, they find you, clients find you. I say to people, how on earth did you, because I'm not big social media, I don't have a vast following or anything like that yet. That's another piece later, right? When I need to. But I do a lot of things which are, I do interviews, and when people come and ask me to do interviews, I'm often blown away. Like, how on earth did you find me? It's the frequency, So I think we should start with a bit of breath work today, because I really feel that we're in the midst of this, we're in the escalation phase. So let's do that, and just sit back, shut your eyes. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And another deep breath in and exhale. And one more of those. Deep breath in and exhale. And now, as you breathe with your lungs, I want you to start to imagine that you're breathing with every cell in your body. As you're breathing in this fresh, clear, energetic spring light. And as you're breathing out, all stress, all tiredness, all doubt. As you're breathing in, breathe into every cell of your body. And you're breathing in vibrant energy, refreshing, cleansing, new energy. And as you breathe out, you're breathing out anything which is to do with illness, disappointment, resentment. Continue to breathe into areas that you don't normally focus on. So breathe into your toes, energizing your feet, and exhale. And breathing into the back of the heart. And exhale. And you find yourself in the most beautiful area of nature. So go to a place in nature, anywhere, that you really love. It can be anywhere. It can be the mountains, the rivers, the ocean, the desert. Just find yourself in a place that you truly love and you feel gives you energy and life force. And as you're breathing in all the energy of that place. And as you're breathing out, you're letting go of anything that's bothering you right now. And as you notice the trees and the flowers and all the beautiful nature around you, I want you to have an imagined 360 degrees where you are. As you look down at the ground, you notice the earth beneath your feet, and you realize that you are naked, and the temperature is perfect. You feel that the air is blowing on your skin, making you alert and refreshed. It blows slightly in your hair, making you let go and relax. And you look at the quality of this earth beneath your feet, and you see this beautiful color of earth. As you do so, imagine that roots start to growing down through the base of your feet, merging with the earth, going all the way down, moving past rocks and stones, moving through granite, moving down, down into the deepest part of the earth. And finally, the tips of your roots break through into the center of the earth, which is all lava, liquid earth. This is new earth forming. And as the tips of your roots dip into this space, you feel the quality of earth that is not yet formed. And it's an energy. It's a high, vibrant energy. And it's got fire associated with it because it's lava, it's liquid earth. And your roots dip down into this new energy, and you feel the tingling as you make contact with it, of all the potentials that you can be. At any given time, you're given a choice. You're given the two choices always of love or fear. And as you dip down into the center of this earth, you realize that all is love. All of it is love. All formations are coming from love. There is no fear in this place. And you're wiggling your roots just the way you'd wiggle your toes. And you're experiencing the contact with new earth as you feel this vibrant energy wanting to arrive in your system. And you have to give it permission, like an invitation. So on the third breath from now, you're going to invite that new energy in with a breath. So let's take 3 breaths. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And another one, deep breath in and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And this one, as you inhale, you invite that energy to enter the root system, drawing it up all the way from the center of the earth, all the way up through your roots, all the way up to the base of your feet. And this is a new energetic system that we're bringing in a new frequency. As you allow it to come into your system, there's no effort. Just naturally with breathing, it has now entered with the invitation. And it enters at the base of the feet. And what you feel is love surging into the base of your feet and the potential of all good business, all good health, all good lives, good properties, good relationships. And you feel the tingle of this as you acknowledge that this is probably one of the most exciting times of your life. As it flows all the way up, it merges into your sacral chakra. So this is the second one, the creativity chakra. So it's the one which is associated with womb and sexuality and sensuality and all the things that you create. Allow it to just move within to the womb space, entering the sex organs, entering the area between your hips, and feel this vibrant, fizzy, new earth energy entering. and changing the actual energetics of which you will be operating from. Breathing into the womb space now, which is in women the most creative space. Allow this to just integrate. So you're feeling a new frequency entering. It's an energy of love. And you could also now imagine that you're doing womb breathing. So you're breathing with the womb. Make sure that the breath is going down into this area and make it go in a 360-degree area. So the back of the womb, the back of the lower back, back of the buttocks. These areas that we neglect often because we're so front-facing, start to merge into these areas. This is where often lost and forgotten parts of yourself reside. Old parts which have been cut off through disappointment or sadness. And we retrieve them, sending energy into these parts, breathing into the hips. And as you allow the connection to move upwards, breathe it up a stage and feel it going straight into the solar plexus. So we're drawing from the creative energy, moving all the sensuality and creativity that you have up into the power center now. You can put a hand on your solar plexus and start to feel the energy as you breathe into that space. This is often where we feel fear, and it occurs like butterflies in the stomach. So now we're filling it, surging it, full of love and the creativity, all the way from the center of the earth with new, vibrant, fresh energy. And now we focus on the back of the solar plexus, the area that may have been challenged when somebody told you you were stupid, or it was a bad idea, or that who are you to think you're the one to do this? And instead you're thinking, I am the one to do this. And you feel the rush of the invitation of that earth energy surging into the back of the solar plexus, firing it up. And you feel courage as it moves up now into the heart space, filling the back of the heart with the courage and the passion, the connection, through all relationships, being at the right place at the right time, connecting with the right people at the right time. Breathing that in. And then we allow it to focus like a pool of energy in the heart. So imagine if the heart was expanding like a sphere. So we're going to expand it to be as big as a sphere of our body. So the heart now increases. And then imagine it filling the room. Now we're going to move it to be big as the house that you're in. And now we're increasing even more, so as big as the area you're in. You start to expand rapidly because the source is this generation of new energy from the earth, so it's limitless. You just ask and it comes in. You're inviting this new energy to expand to as big as the area that you're in. Now you want to take it one step further. Now we go as big as England. The sphere encompassing England now is this heartfelt connection space full of love. And now we're going to go as big as the earth, as Mama Earth. So we increase to be the sphere of the earth, bringing new earth energy for healing, for connection, for the right ideas to work in harmony with her, and to be as cyclical as the planets. So start to spread your energy like an invitation now. Invite at a global level all the connections that you are meant to make. Invite them in now. Make a statement in your mind. I am inviting in all energies to help me at this time from around the globe, united in healing of Mother Earth, united in abundance and prosperity for me, united in helping everybody who needs my help at this time with my particular skill set. And now name your skill set. So run through the things that you're good at and make it at least 5 great things that you're good at. Name them in your mind and invite those people to meet you on that level. And now feel a strong, close circle of love around you. It's a different feeling, different energy. It may have a different color now. As you know, you've sent out psychic receptors around the world now to start to form the connections that you need for this cycle. There may even be people that you're aware of who will help you with this. If so, bring them to mind. The final part is to ask. Ask for what you want right now. So ask in your own mind. Don't be afraid of asking for money, for help, for health. In your mind's eye, ask. And now we're going to close this and allow your energy to be out that big in the world. So this will be like a cycle, and it will be operating for the next 3 days. Connections will be made at a frequency level to start the cycle of growth. And now you can rub your hands, keeping your eyes shut. Rub your hands together, rub, 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 rub. And then place your palms over your closed eyes, breathe in. And exhale. And another one of those. Rub, 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 rub. Place your palms over your closed eyes, breathe in. And exhale. And one more. Rub, 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 rub. Place them over your closed eyes. Breathe in and exhale. And then you can rub your face, your hair, back of your neck, front of your throat, and just come back into the space. Andorra arrived when we were just bringing the circle back. Feel good? Yeah.
I really needed that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because we can get so caught in our head right now. But what we're doing, or what I'm helping you with, is to increase your frequency to handle what's going on, to blast through all the fear, and to already be making the connections. Everything is energy. So you're already making the connections. So in a way, it's like there isn't anything to do, but do the things that you're doing. It's already, the cycle is set. So do you have any questions about where you're at right now? Go for it. Yeah.
I always have questions.
Good.
So I decided to do a small kind of mini workshop, and I wrote it down. I have like everything set up, and then kind of the fear crippled in. Oh, nobody will come, you know, like, oh, you know, you don't know how to advertise it, you know. Then I thought, okay, I can put like, it's okay to give the money away to for a donation, you know, I'm okay. Like, I would like to do this. And then I thought, oh, you're gonna choose the wrong place and people won't come, because now it's all focused on rescuing people from Corona, not necessarily like helping other people in needs, you know. So those are my concerns right now. Because I used to cooperate, now less, but in the past more, with some Mexican nonprofit. And my intention is to, each time I make money, give them a little bit.
That's nice. What do they do? I love Mexico. It's part of my
I used
soul.
I used to live in Yucatan, and they support, basically they support the unprivileged. I don't want to use that word, but
Yeah, but I get it.
yeah,
Poorer people.
mainly children, to of all kinds of educational projects, and help them, for example, learn English or something like that, to better their chances or opportunities in life.
Great. So
Yeah.
now I want to work with you. Now, do you get how amazing that is?
For me, it is, yeah.
Yeah. So do you get that you're the source now of that amazingness, that you can make a shift for some child in Mexico?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I want you to see how amazing that is. Like, I'm immediately moved. I have a love affair with Mexico anyway.
Me too.
So I feel like I've been there in a past life a few times. So even though I'm such a blondie, when I'm there, it's like I'm just living a different connection.
I totally understand. I love that country.
Yeah.
And the people.
So, me too. So think about the impact that you can make. It's very moving to really get in there, like see the Mexican people, see the children that you could impact, and see the smiling faces when they get some little bit of a break from that cycle of poverty. Now, I want you to take that energy into what you're doing. That's how you fuel it. It's not about you.
Okay.
It's about them.
Yeah.
And then now who you're going to be, because you cannot be oh, I'm so scared in case just one person showed up. Go back. That child, would one person make a difference? Yes. So this is how I fuel some of my biggest visions, because it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about legacy. It's about give back. Now, when I then, and you then start to ask for the pricing that you need to function for you, it's all part of the package.
Okay.
So you start to put these things out on a different level, even if one person shows up.
Yeah.
If no person shows up, you record the event and you put it out there as a recorded offering. That's your first one. If nobody shows up.
All right. Yeah.
If somebody shows up, you've got one person showing up. Many workshops that I've done in life, and I used to squirm with this when I was younger. I'd go, be first new offering that I was doing in yoga or some teaching training I was doing, and there'd be 2 people there. And I've walked into a room and gone, oh my God, like there's only 2 people. So I did this whole long series of things called the Craft of the Wise. And the first one, there was 2 people. and I remember I had to walk out of the room, get a grip, and look in the mirror and go, these 2 people could be the most important people that I could ever meet. And so I'm going to deliver to this room like it's 3,000 people. Like that. And then next week, there were a whole bunch more people, right? So the first week was really handling me. And then, so I was just saying, Sally, that Dagmara was saying, how do you get the energy, or she's got fears, and it's all the not good enough. It's all, who am I? Bullshit, right? And then what you do is you go all the way to, what am I doing this for? And what she wants to do is she wants to impact some Mexican children, and give to a charity in this instance. But whatever that is, that's your heart. That's your heart. So you're feeding the heart of the world by doing that. The heart is also courage. It's, I am such an animal lover that I've rescued animals. I have stolen animals from abusive homes. There is nothing that I won't do if I see mistreatment of an animal. Nothing. Like, I am ferocious, and I'm an activist, and I'm like in your freaking face, and there is nothing that will stop me. So when I'm trying to get my courage up around things, I just go to that part of me. It's like, oh, right. Well, you're like a tiger in that instance, because I'm not going to allow it. That's my stand in the world. Not while I'm here. Can you do that? Right? So if you then bring that energy through, it's no longer about you doing your little video for your little tiny audience with your little whatever it is that you feel insecure. It's like, no, this is Tiger speaking. This world needs to shift right now. And so if nobody shows up for your event, you film it, you deliver a piece, and you put it out on Facebook. And you announce that this is an invitation for people to start to work with you. And that was the first one. Second one, maybe 1 or 2 show up, but you deliver like it's a room of 3,000. So it doesn't matter. I am actually speaking, hopefully, to 3,000 this year. And the intimacy of my experience is no different, because I've trained myself of thinking that I don't know who watches my flipping videos. Actually, there's been a slight surge recently because probably of Corona. Like, I've got more of an audience. But I tell you, the thing that you never know is who's watching. You never know who's watching. And on Facebook Lives and that kind of thing, lots of people don't comment. They're just watching. And you have no sense of who you're speaking to, right? And suddenly you see the little figures of who's interacted. And it's interesting, but you've got to gain a momentum. But the energy that's coming forward for you is, I am making a difference for those Mexican children. And that's who I'm delivering for, on behalf of, because it's part of my heart, this expansive heart that you're working with right now. So you've got to start small. Some people have got to start small, you know, and then a bit later, what I would recommend to you, it is part of my kind of strategy. I always work with the top people in the top things. So if somebody says, work your way up, I'm like, come on, you know, that's not my strategy. I just pinpoint who's the key movers and shakers. This is influence. And I get to them as quickly as possible. And so if there's one assistant in between me and them, I schmooze the assistant, you know, and I'm a people person. So and I'm persistent. So it's like, you know, how I got a big speaking gig this year, and we don't know if it's going to be live or if it's going to be, you know, now a big online event, which was what I recommended to this person. Anyway, she's a big speaker. She's a big coach, massive, like Tony Robbins. Here am I, who am I, right? I could go into the who am I bit, but I don't do that anymore. I go, I am here. I know what my calling is, and I've got something to share. And so I started hitting her up with small text messages on Voxer, which is an American platform. It's a bit like WhatsApp, but it's what they use. They use Voxer. Now, you will find people like that are often, the interviews or whatever you get with them are like, what can you do for me? Is how I've experienced it before, right? Literally, these women or men will be like, hi, I have 5 seconds. What can you do for me? And it's really off-putting, right? So but I'm persistent. That's my thing. I'm like water that just keeps flowing on down, and I'm going to wear you out with the rock if I want something. So I just kept sending these nice little texts to her. Have you considered this? Have you thought about that? Hey, here's what I'm doing now. What do you think? And oftentimes at the beginning, she was like, yeah, that's great. Nah, we don't need this. You know, my company doesn't need that. And then all of a sudden there was a bingo. And the thing that she said to me was, at first I experienced you like you were pitching to me. Of course, because the world is full of pitching. You have to get your ideas out. So that's the confidence to go for it, right? And I could have experienced that like an insult. I didn't at all. The second sentence was, I admire your tenacity so much. Because that piece is where you get places. Tenacity. Do you know what the word means? It means like, tenacity is like, it's like persistence, like a dog with a bone. You know, it's like, I never give up on animals. You would never give up on Mexican children. So why the hell would I give up on me? I'm the spokesperson for all of that. So she said, I admire your tenacity so much. And then when I was able to explain the idea to her, she was like, I like this. Because all of those people are just like, you know, this is it. They've got 2 seconds. They're all looking where they want to look. So of course, the first piece is you have to get their attention. But I always go in with, I am persistent, I'm polite, I'm funny, and I'll be back. It's like, again, hi again, me. Just when you thought that you got rid of me, you didn't. And that's exactly how I would be with any animal cause. You know what I mean? And so you've got to root it in your personal experience of what means something to you. And be like that in your business experience of getting yourself out there. Because if you've got a doubt going on around money, worth, worthiness, it's natural. Lots of people do at the beginning, right? But now you're going to have to develop some skill sets to move through that. And that's one of them. Always root it in the deepest things that mean something to you. Convert that energy into why you're doing it, right? Because as I make money, believe me, so many people benefit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the reality. A friend of mine died a little over 10 years ago of AIDS in Africa. And it was a shame, you know, nobody could talk about it. it was all this ghastly experience. And he left two little girls, and the mother would not, she was sort of incapable, I think, had lots of mental health issues. And so we formed a group of people who look after them. And now they would live, like, and then the mother died last year. But these girls are going to have the most amazing life. You know why? Because I say so. I say so, like that. And I've been fierce with people getting, you know, like getting money together when we've needed. And it really, in our terms, is very little. But when you ask something of people, I've lost friends over it, because I've been like, you actually disgust me, that you really don't give a shit about anyone else. That's it. So those aren't my friends anymore. But these girls have now grown up to, they're 18 and 19, and one is probably going to go to university. She's very smart. The other one has got classic entrepreneurial skills. So I've got her in with a mentor who's like an entrepreneur. And that is because of me. And I don't announce it like generally, but I'm giving you an example of, like, I've had to be tenacious over that for the last about 12 years. They will thrive because of me. I will thrive because of me. So when I'm going up to my next level and hitting up these, you know, celebrity coach gurus, I have got to have that level of persistence. You know, how would they know who I am? I live in England. They're all in America. This group I'm talking about, it's like, you have to have persistence and then some skill sets with it, you know? So your first launch, think of it like a launch. Woo! You know, party, dress up, use all that energy that you've got to make it feel like it's more than just the thing that you're doing right now. Otherwise, we're like this at home going, hi, I'm going to do a Zoom with you. You know, I'm a bit flat, but whatever. Is anyone out there? You know, no, it's like I always dress up, at least from the waist up, which is the joke. You know, yoga pants, waist down, but, you know, I put earrings on. I go for it, because it's like every time I speak, I don't know who's out there. And you need to be like that. Does that help?
Yeah, very much so.
Great.
Yeah.
Go do this thing for those Mexican kids, you know? And Sally, do you have any particular questions today?
I really appreciated the meditation, actually. Yesterday, I did get caught up in some fear and anxiety around my living situation, and just be like, the thing that I want most at the moment is time and focus to be able to get the business moving, and so I'm getting some anxiety around that being taken away from me. So it was really helpful to do the meditation, because it was really grounding. I've also noticed I'd been doing a 21-day abundance practice and learnt a lot from that. And the first 10 days in particular, I was manifesting literally out of thin air. You know, and I have a real power and ability to do that. I can pull manifestation out of the air. But what I've noticed is that that's not grounded, that's not sustainable. As fast as I can pull stuff out of the air, it can disappear again. And that's fine, because I haven't lost anything, it's just passed through me. But all the time I'm pulling it out of the air, it's unsustainable manifestation. So the meditation, taking us down into the roots to actually bring that manifestation energy up from the earth, is exactly where I need to be at the moment to actually start creating manifestation and abundance that are sustainable and grounded and have a foundation, and that actually come from material resources rather than ethereal resources. So I've really appreciated that. I'm still feeling some fear and anxiety at the moment, so I'm just working through that. Thank you.
Breathing. Well, come on, what's the fear? Let's do it. Let's go there.
That so the situation I'm living in at the moment is that I'm in quarantine for 2 weeks, and so that's kind of like my base. I've got this time to focus on getting things moving. After that period of 2 weeks, I'll go back into living in community, where my time will be very structured and there'll be a lot of demands on my time. I already found from doing that for the first 3 months of the year that I was able to focus on that, give that 100%, but it meant that I wasn't able to run my business. And that was a conflict within me. And that conflict is starting to arise again. And during this 2 week period, we're starting to be asked if we can start doing some work for the community already. And I've really mentally blocked out this 2 week period to be focused on getting the business moving, and getting myself online. And it's given me a lot of anxiety to think that that's being eroded, and that's being
okay, well,
potentially
change
taken
the
away.
language. Nothing is being eroded. When you're asked to, that's, you know, already right there. Nip it in the bud. And how you do it, this is it's a psychic attack technique. It also is an NLP. If you can grab the sentence, what, you know, my time is being eroded. You get it into the sentence and you see a black X, you put it through no, 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 like that. Because we have to start to see what those things are that we play with, the bullshit that we play with. So get it out, see it, and then it's like this, and it's a black X through it. So that's a technique. And then after that, it's like you got to push it away, you know, like whoosh, no. And then you start to see how you have just leaked out that source of abundance right there. That's the hole for you. So when you start to think about this, the structuring of time, when I've had to really do a lot more than I thought I wanted to or was capable of or whatever, I didn't understand at those times that actually I needed to frame it in the word expansion. This is what my expansion looks like. And when I started to do that, it really helped. So I'm passing that on as a tip. So when you think of this, don't think of erosion or all of that stuff. Cross some of those out today. So really get them out of you, get them into a sentence and cross them out. So you're energetically removing them. And then say to yourself, oh, all that's happening is I'm just expanding. That's all. This is the expansion phase. So, okay, how does expansion look? So you're increasing your frequency. You want to get your frequency up so you can handle these things, not go down with these things. Go whoop, up, draw the energy up from the earth, and you create your own structure. So it might be in times when you're being asked to do things at certain times, then you get up slightly earlier to have 15 minutes to yourself. Even if you're getting up earlier, get up 15 minutes even earlier. 15 minutes it's like an eternity when you can just gather your thoughts and start to put something in place where you feel like you have no time. Increase it to half an hour. It becomes unbelievable what you get done because you're putting yourself first. It's the first thing that you put yourself first in the morning. And then you carve out these areas and you just really tell people, this is what I can do, but I'm also doing this. So I need to work that with you on that. Because this piece is really important for me. I'm on a project for 2 weeks. I know I'm in the community, but I'm on this project also. So how can we work that out? All of it's a negotiation. But boundaries, boundaries, boundaries in community like that. Right?
Yeah, thank you so much. Dagmara knows as well because she's lived in the community too.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's carving out boundaries, and some of that is the hardest stuff for people. I'm still learning it. Boundaries. So with that in mind, our session is over for today, for now. But, you know, you can come back at 4 o'clock on Friday, and I'll be doing another session of this. I hope it's helping you and keeping you, you know, during these times. This could be the most exciting year ever.
Totally.
In your business. That's the bit you need to get. I'm not giving up on any of that. It's like, it just isn't looking quite the way that I expected it to look. I was supposed to be shooting a bunch of ads right now, visionary ads. Nobody can leave the house for that. So how am I reforming my plan? It's all the other end of the year. But in the meantime, I'm doing other products that would be before the teaching of the ad. It's like get camera ready is one of them. And another one is this kind of work. So nothing is lost. It's just a different cycle. Okay. So I'll see you maybe on Friday. Keep breathing, get something out, just do it, just do it, just do it. It's going to be great. Okay?
Thank you.
See you later. Loads of love. Mwah.
Thank you.
Send me an email, Dagmara. Did you get my email? And then I can send one back to you. See you later.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, love.
Bye.